In the last 2 years, I've been trying to paint I've been unable to do a lot of the organizing and educational stuff that I was doing a long time ago. And I think this is part of the art that I've been struggling with, about the art that communicates that we are one, that we are a class, that we have a history. And this particular painting in 1974, 70s, the early 70s, I was a volunteer director with the West Virginia Welfare Rights Organization. And this is a scene of welfare mothers who are on the left giving information to striking coal miners about how to get food stamps so that they could feed their children and families when the strike benefits wore out, which they were quickly happening. And they were fighting over safety, the miners. And the welfare rights mothers who were here, this is Ethel Brewster in the front, Shelva Thompson and Joan White, from coal-producing counties in West Virginia. And so they knew about miners and mining history, and had dealt with the consequences of a system that's not responding to people's needs, both the coal miners and people on welfare. And the women on welfare were fighting a lot of battles, like in a lot of states, and they formed a welfare rights organization to try and get better benefits and services out of a government that refused to pay attention. And so this is a scene of welfare mothers who were trained in how to fight for their rights and what strategy and tactics you needed to exercise and teach other people, teach me, teach a lot of the miners, that you're dealing with a different thing than you are necessarily with a coal operator, even if they're directly connected. And so these welfare mothers were giving out and giving information to miners about how to get these food stamps and how to fight for them, and bringing their own histories of fighting for their lives and their own experience at organizing in the state. And the solidarity that was created by this action was pretty incredible, because the stereotypes of people on welfare, people who are poor, like all of us, is that we are less than equal. We're not human. We're dirty. We're neglectful, lazy, and the miners are painted oftentimes, coal miners, as the hardworking men who get a paycheck and they're honest and strong and all this. In this case, the roles were reversed. The real leaders in this moment were welfare mothers, and this took place in 1974. The welfare mothers who were educating the miners about how to fight for their rights. And I think symbolically, for me and for everything that both Janet and I have done over years, is conveying the message that we are one, that we are the same, no matter how they mistreat one section and don't treat us the same, or no matter how much money somebody is temporarily earning at a job. The welfare mothers represent people who are out of work, widows of coal miners, family members who take care of lots of children and at the same time are educating other people in their communities in how to fight for what they need. Janet, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, and part of what we need these days is, because we're all getting sick from working at these jobs, and those of us who are old are sick from having worked at the jobs, we really need to fight for healthcare for everybody. And in Pennsylvania, where we are now, there's the nonviolent Medicaid army who's trying to fight against the cuts in Medicare. But even if
Okay.
you're Medicaid, and even if you're not on any of these assistance programs, we're all facing bankruptcy, destitution from our diseases, especially from David's had 3 cancers. And part of the film that I think you guys are going to show a little bit of that tonight is about David's ability, in spite of how sick he's been with 3 cancers, to go ahead and paint these pictures of the things that have happened to us in our lives so that the stories that we live through won't be lost. Telling these stories is another way to rouse up these dry bones, because everybody's got a story. And when you hear somebody else's story, then you realize you're not alone.
Amen, sister.